The Life of Ryuichi Sakamoto. While not working with Yellow Magic Orchestra, Ryuichi Sakamoto developed his solo career. He created 24 studio albums, and he composed the music for several movies. One such movie is Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Interestingly, Sakamoto landed an acting role in this movie too. Another movie Sakamoto is credited with creating the music for is The Last Emperor. The music for this movie was so successful that Sakamoto became the first Japanese person to win an Oscar for a film score. Another famous movie that employed Sakamoto for its score was The Revenant, featuring Leonardo DiCaprio. Other than music, Sakamoto was also known for his strong stance against nuclear power. He used his fame to talk about the importance of using clean energy and the dangers of nuclear technology. In 2011, after the earthquake in Japan that killed almost 20,000 people, Sakamoto used his musical talent to support the victims. He played the piano to provide comfort and hope to those in need. This was to demonstrate the power of music to unite people during challenging times.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
I'm Nikki.
And we are back with our second day looking at the long and interesting life of Ryuichi Sakamoto, the very famous, celebrated, and widely respected Japanese musician who had a 50-year career, didn't he, Nikki?
Yeah, he did. And his music ranged from kind of classical music to a pop kind of music.
It did, indeed. 50-year career, but he actually started playing piano at the age of 3. So I think it's safe to say that he had a natural talent for music. He did everything from pop music, sort of electronic dance pop music, with the Yellow Magic Orchestra at the beginning of his career, and then he also ended up doing some very widely respected movie scores. We'll be getting to that a little bit later. So I think it's time to get back into the life of Ryuichi Sakamoto. When we left him, he was sort of working with his first group, Yellow Magic Orchestra, but also he was interested in trying different musical genres, and he had a long solo career as well. So let's find out all about that. It says, while not working with Yellow Magic Orchestra, Ryuichi Sakamoto developed his solo career. Yeah, a lot of artists might work with a group, and then they work on their own as well. So they might, become famous, maybe working with a group, and then later on, they have their own career. I guess, Justin Timberlake was a member of, NSYNC? Was he in that group? And then he had a solo career afterwards. A lot of people do that kind of thing, go from a group. And then later on start to do their own music on their own. They might play with a group, but that's not the group name. It's their name as the performer. That would be their solo career.
那前一天我们有提到坂本龙一和 Yellow Magic Orchestra 合作，但是同时在文章的最后也留了一个伏笔，提到了他的 solo career。那今天的课文揭晓告诉我们，他没有和他们合作时如何发展了自己的音乐事业。
All right, and he actually had a long solo career. It says he created 24 studio albums, and he composed the music for several movies. So yeah, that's quite a long career, producing 24 studio albums. Most artists might produce an album every year or two. So doing 24 shows that you've been making music for a long time. These are studio albums. Why do we say studio albums? Well, because most music albums are made in the studio, but that's not the only place. A studio is a working space for artists. That's it. That's as simple as it can be. Now, what is in that studio will depend on the artist. If it's a painter's studio, they might have big windows to let in lots of light. There'll be paints lying around. There'll be brushes lying around, little pots of water for mixing paints, that kind of thing. If it's a dance studio, very little in that place. Maybe a big mirror along one wall and a big open floor while the dancers can move around. A TV or music studio, oh my gosh, it will be much more crowded. Lights, cameras, expensive equipment all over the place. People doing very specialized jobs to record the music or film the TV show. So all of these are studios, but they're all very different from the inside, depending on what art you are making in that space, in that studio. For example, John loves to make music, so he built a small studio in his home. It could just be a table with a computer, a guitar, a few microphones, and hopefully something on the walls so that he doesn't wake up his neighbors at night.
Studio 是名词，指的是录音室 ，a place where you can make music or TV, radio programs. 那除了音乐之外呢，它也可以是舞蹈练习室 ，a dance studio. It's mostly related to artist works and it could even be a graphic studio. 那像是摄影棚，我们也可以用 studio 这个字。For example, Warner Brothers Studio, 华纳兄弟就是这个用这个 studio 这个字。那 compose 这个动词是作曲 ，to produce music.To write a piece of music. 同时 composer 加了一个 er 就会是作曲家。
Well, let's talk about some of the movies that he wrote the music for. Here's an interesting one. One such movie is Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. That's the name of the movie. Came out around 1983, 1984, I'm guessing. Interestingly, Sakamoto landed an acting role in this movie, too. Another movie Sakamoto is credited with creating the music for is The Last Emperor, that very famous movie about the young boy who became the final emperor of China in the early 1900s, before, of course, Sun Yat-sen and the Republic of China, all that stuff happened. The Last Emperor, Bernardo Bertolucci, I believe, might be the director of that movie. It's good. It's like 3 hours long, so make sure you, watch it at home with a big pot of popcorn in front of you, a big bowl of popcorn. But a good movie, and again, Sakamoto wrote the music. He is credited with creating the music. When you credit something, you basically give the credit, or else you say, this person did it. Usually a good thing. If I organize a big birthday party, everyone might say, oh, you should thank Mike for the big birthday party. He planned it. He bought the cake. He picked the place. He invited all the guests. He gets all the sort of applause or the thanks or the respect for something. Generally, as I say, we credit good things to someone, although you could credit someone with making a big mistake or causing a big problem or something like that. But generally, it's for a more positive thing. Like in our example sentence, as leader of the team, Cindy is credited with the project's success. It couldn't have happened without her work.
那有几部他知名的电影呢，像是《俘虏》以及《末代皇帝》。那他甚至有在《俘虜》这部片里面嘎一脚。那这个动词 credit 认为有成就或者是有某个特质，在这边看到 he is credited with something 指的是将某一件事情归功于某个人。那这边用到的是被动的用法，也就是说末代皇帝的音乐制作也是归功于坂本龙一。那 credit 当名词的时候指的是赞扬或者是荣耀， it's an approval or a praise. For example, she deserves credit for coming up with such a genius idea. 她想到了一个很棒的方法或者是想法。
All right, let's find out about the music from The Last Emperor. The music for this movie was so successful that Sakamoto became the first Japanese person to win an Oscar for a film score. Wow, that's a pretty big honor. Winning an Oscar, winning a movie award for the movie, but mainly for the music he wrote for the movie The Last Emperor. And there's a melody in there. I think it's played on an erhu. I think most people, if they heard it, they would go, oh, that song. Yeah, because it became quite a famous song and was used by many other people, actually, in their music as well. So that was a big hit along with the movie, and it brought him an Oscar award. What a great thing to win. Another famous movie that employed Sakamoto for its score was The Revenant, featuring Leonardo DiCaprio. This movie's not too old, right? It's maybe 4 or 5 years old,
yeah.
5, 6 years
old. Is it the one that he's in the forest?
It's the one he's in the forest. I didn't watch it because I understand he gets beaten up by a bear for like an hour of the movie. And I was like, I don't know if I want to watch Leonardo DiCaprio getting slapped around by a bear for that long. But it's a very good movie. I'm not sure if it won Oscars or was nominated. Leonardo, I think, was nominated for an actor award. So a good movie, but there is a lot of bear violence based in it. So if you're in the mood for that, go check it out. But that's another movie that Sakamoto did the music for. That actually makes me want to watch the movie a little bit more now.
Because you know who made the music?
Because at least if Leonardo's, having the bear treat him badly, I can enjoy the music. Well, I feel bad for Leo.
那这部电影的音乐厉害到让坂本龙一成为史上第一位获得奥斯卡的日本人。 那像是后来比较最近的电影，像是《神鬼猎人》等等的音乐，都是出自坂本龙一之手。
All right, well, you would think with all of these things going on, all these music projects going on in Mr. Sakamoto's life, he wouldn't have time for much else, but he did. He actually had some very strong personal beliefs that he was quite comfortable talking about. It says, other than music, Sakamoto was also known for his strong stance against nuclear power.
那在这边看到一个片语 be known for something 指的是以某个特色为人所知。For example, French people are known for their bad attitude because they're very arrogant and they're always talking bad things about other people. 那另外看到一个名词 stance 指的是观点、立场或者是态度，那通常是公开表明的。So if you have a stance against something 就是你对于某一个东西持反对的立场，或者 stance towards, stance something else, etc. etc. And 那另外一个我们看到它的 nuclear power against nuclear power, nuclear 指的是核能的。那在这边我们还看到了今天的另外一个文法 Let's take a look. 当我们要说除此之外的时候，我们有下列几个用法。那第一个是 besides 就是加一，也就是说前面提到的情况再加上的意思。Besides Mandarin, Sharon also speaks Japanese really well 指的就是她会讲中文还会讲日文。那像是 except 是减一，也就是前面提到的情况被排除在外的意思。For example, except for Germany, Nick has been to every other countries in Europe 也就是说他去过欧洲所有国家除了 Germany 之外，除了德国之外。那这边课文所看到的 other than 则是可以加一也可以是减一的意思，要根据前後文来判断。那在这边呢，文章里也是加一的意思，也就是说坂本龙一除了对音乐有热忱，他甚至对反核的议题也很热衷。
All right, we're back. So Ryuichi Sakamoto had a stance against nuclear energy, nuclear power. And next we read, he used his fame to talk about the importance of using clean energy and the dangers of nuclear technology. Nuclear technology comes with dangers like radiation, as what happened in Japan, and so he thought we should be more focused on clean energy. You might also call that renewable energy, solar power, wind power, things like that.
那 fame 这个名词指的是名声或是声望的 state of being known because of your achievement. 那它的形容词就会变成 famous, 有名的。
Yeah, if I was talking about nuclear power, everyone would say, who are you? And we don't care. Because I'm not a world-famous musician like Ryuichi Sakamoto. And as we mentioned, there are things that have happened in Japan that made this stance against nuclear power very personal, very important for people like Mr. Sakamoto. In 2011, after the earthquake in Japan, that's the one we mentioned, the earthquake in Japan that killed almost 20,000 people, Sakamoto used his musical talent to support the victims. There was the terrible earthquake, and then there was the huge wave, the huge tsunami. That's what killed most of the people. And then, of course, the nuclear accident happened in the days and weeks that followed. It was a bad time in that part of Japan. And he used his talent, Mr. Sakamoto did, to support the victims. Talent is basically a natural ability or skill that you are born with. You can practice and make your talent even better, but talent is almost as if you were given this gift by God or whatever when you were born, and you're just sort of good at things that other people might have to work hard at. So if you have a natural talent for sports, it might be much easier for you to become a professional athlete than someone who has to practice more. Here's a good example. Leonardo da Vinci was a man of many talents, inventor, engineer, painter, sculptor. He could do it all. And we also had Sakamoto supporting the victims of the nuclear accident and earthquake. A victim is someone who is either the subject of a crime or some kind of terrible event. If something really bad happens to you and it wasn't anything to do with you, you were the victim. If someone steals money from you or knocks you down with their car, you could be the victim of a crime. You could be the victim of a disease if you get sick with it. That kind of thing. So something outside, something bad from outside happens to you. While on holiday in Seoul, Alfonso was the victim of a pickpocket. Someone stole his wallet while he was shopping or walking around Seoul. It happened to him. He's the victim of this crime.
Talent 是名词，指的是天赋或是才能，也就是与生俱来的能力。It's a natural ability. You know how to do this without being taught. For example, people that can sing well, they have a talent in music. 那如果是后天所习得的能力，我们就会说是 skill 一个技能。If someone has a talent in something, we'll say that he or she is talented. 那另外看到的这个字 victim 指的是受害者或是牺牲者，它是一个名词。所以因为别人所做的事情，我们受伤或者是牺牲，我们称之为 victim。A victim of crime 就会是犯罪的受害者，那 a victim of a practical joke 会是恶作剧的受害者。
So how did Sakamoto use his musical talent? Well, it says he played the piano to provide comfort and hope to those in need. Yeah, sometimes there's not much you can do than just make people happier, more comfortable, and sometimes music is one of the best ways of touching their soul and cheering them up, providing comfort. Comfort is a feeling of ease, not suffering, taking away your pains, your troubles, your worries. For example, it was a great comfort to Cecil that many of his friends came to visit him when he was in the hospital. They didn't make him better, they didn't take away his disease, but they cheered him up.
Comfort 这个名词指的是安慰。If someone gives you comfort, they try to make you feel better when you're sad or feeling bad. 那它当形容词的时候会是 comfortable， 指的是舒服的或是舒适的，让你心情比较稳定或是感觉好一点。
And as it says at the end of our article, playing music for the victims of this disaster, this was to demonstrate the power of music to unite people during challenging times. All these people facing many great difficulties, their lives are kind of ruined, but he can unite everyone in their suffering through the power of music, and maybe together they can make each other feel better. They can bring each other comfort as the music brings them comfort. To unite is to bring or to join together. When you link together a train to make one long moving machine, that is to unite the train carriages. When you see your family after many years away, you might unite or reunite for a big family dinner at Chinese New Year or something like that. So you're bringing things that are separate, you're bringing them together to make a new, whole, bigger thing. For example, the whole country felt united after the baseball team won an Olympic award. People forgot about elections and politics and this and that, and we all felt like we were one big team because of our baseball team.
那坂本龙一利用音乐所做的这些事情或是产生的影响，都是为了要展现音乐的力量，用音乐的力量来团结大家。这边看到 demonstrate 动词指的是展示或是表现，那它的名词 demonstration 就会是演示示范。那另外一个动词 unite 是使统一或者是使团结，那通常指的是一群不同的人联合起来完成某件事情。So let's now take a look at today's For You chat. Mike,
yes.
Which movies do you think have the best music and why?
Gosh, that's a tough question. I'll throw a few out there. The Last Waltz is a great music movie. It's a concert movie. Many great musicians playing there. Let's see. Tron Legacy had music by Daft Punk. That's a little different, but if you like Ryuichi Sakamoto, you might like that. And I don't know. What's your favorite? You know, you like Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Hans Zimmer movie? Because he only does movie music, basically.
Yeah, Interstellar.
There's another good one. Another long movie, too. All right, guys, we'll have more about Ryuichi Sakamoto tomorrow, so don't go far and come back for that. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review. Studio. Most musicians prefer to record their albums in music studios for better sound quality. Credit. The coach was credited with leading the team to victory through his encouraging words. Talent. Julia Child's teachers said she had no talent for cooking, but she later became a famous cook. Victim. Many people are sending money to the victims who lost their homes and families in the big earthquake. Comfort. The letters that people sent me after my girlfriend's death gave me a lot of comfort. Unite. Charlie and Teresa grew up in different countries, but they are united by a common culture.
智慧小补帖
Compose. Stance. Nuclear. Fame. Demonstrate.